Hey everybody, this video is going to be one of a couple other where I address a few misconceptions that people have about becoming website designers or starting to build websites for clients as part of the services that they already offer, okay? My name is Jennifer Sanjinas, and I actually teach virtual assistants and online business owners how to begin to build WordPress websites so they can add that as a service that they offer to their current and existing clients. And then I also run a website design studio where we still build and develop client sites as well. So misconception number one that I'm going to tackle today is thinking that you need a degree of some sort, 2-year, 4-year, some type of degree in website design or computer science or related field to be able to build websites and make money doing it, okay? So this is a misconception. This is something that I am wholeheartedly against, not the theory and the idea behind a 4-year education or a 2-year education. I actually went to college myself. I loved it. But the thing is about it, I didn't graduate with anything even close to website design. So I still did do some design related stuff. I had like one graphic design class and a couple art history classes. But my background is in commercial interior design. So think like hospitals and law offices, okay? Not computer website at all. Actually, I wasn't even allowed to have a computer while I was in college until my second year. We had to learn how to draft everything by hand. So that being said, I actually don't know hardly anybody. I tried to think about it before this video, and as I was kind of making an outline for this, I actually don't know anybody who does website design that actually went to school, university or other type of formal education for anything computer related at all. I know a few who maybe did some graphic design or some other type of still design related, so I could see how those tie in, like I just mentioned with what I do, but I don't know anybody who is a web designer or web developer who actually that's what they went to school for and that's what they sat and learned about for 2 to 4 years. And one of the things I always come back to with this, and actually I was having a conversation with somebody that I'm having help do stuff for us. We're actually having a custom home built right now. And so I just mentioned my background is in interior design. And although I am sitting at a table with a person who I could be doing her job, it's been so long since that's what I was in school for. I told her the other day, I said, I would actually never apply for an interior design job now because it's been so long since I've learned those skills. And so after we get out of college and after we get out of this like institutionalized learning areas and centers and stuff like that, we go out and we start to have real world experience in whatever it is you're doing. And those are the skills that, of course, over time, like now I've been out of college for well over 10 years. So I clearly have way more years of experience in the other things that I've done than the 4-year degree that I sat in classes for and did at the university here. So a couple of things I can tell you to help you feel better about not having a degree in any type of design if you're wanting to build websites for clients is that number one, I have never had a client at all ask me what my background is in. With the exception of I build websites for a lot of interior designers, and so I naturally and purposefully bring that up, that that's what my background is in. And it's actually funny how happy they are that that's my background, and they actually never have seemed upset or disappointed that I didn't go to school for website design. So reality is you're probably telling yourself or worried about that, well, they're going to ask for my degree and all my certifications and all this stuff, and they're just not going to. And if you think about it, take yourself completely out of the situation. This is like my answer to everything. I feel like take yourself out of your current situation and think about another service provider that you have hired. So if you have somebody that comes and cleans your home, or if you have somebody who, we have a guy that's going to come fix our roof here in a few days. I'm not asking him like, did you go to roofing school, or can I see your trade certificate or whatever? Like, he runs a business from roofing. He came as a referral from somebody else. So I trust him to do what he says he can do. I'm not asking for all that background information, and I promise you, your clients are not going to either. If you have some big mega corporation and you're trying to do like crazy agency work and all this kind of stuff, then yes, they may definitely require a degree of some sort. But still, even in looking through job postings, if you wanted to just browse them for fun, a lot of times you're going to see, needs X number of years experience in this development language or in something like WordPress, or needs coding knowledge or these other things that have nothing to do with having a degree. They're things that you could learn outside of a college and outside of a university. So just be encouraged with that. Very, very, very likely you're never going to have a client that asks to see your degree in computer science or in web development. It's just not going to happen. So another thing you might say to this is, But Jen, if I was in school for it, I would learn how to code things, right? And then I would know how to build better websites. I'm going to say no on this one too. You can build completely beautiful, really elegant, really intense, and really high functioning websites inside of WordPress, inside of Squarespace, whatever platform. I love and use WordPress, and that's what I teach to students. But you can do that within the platform that you choose. So a lot of these builders these days are no code or low code solutions, and that path is just not going anywhere. So there are so many other companies who have made solutions like this and are coming up with more and more ways to help things just become accessible for people. And so that means that you don't have to know how to code to learn how to build a really good website for your clients or for yourself. My disclaimer to that is that I do think it's really helpful, and I have actually another video about that you can check out if you want to, on just why I think it's important to actually know a little bit about CSS and HTML and a few other things involving code of websites, just so you understand kind of what's behind all of the stuff that you're doing. If you're going to work in like a front end visual builder, it's nice to know a little bit about that, but I'd say kindergarten level at best. Learn a little bit of the basics of it, and if you want to see some resources for that, again, check out that other video. But as far as, well, if you went to school for it, you would learn how to code and all that stuff. I just don't think it's necessary to be able to do that, to be able to have a good side job or a good full-time job doing website design and building websites for clients. So switching gears, talking back to the university model for just a little bit, one thing that was pretty consistently frustrating for me while I was in school, and I approached school a little bit differently. I had so many classmates that would just like lock themselves in our architecture studio and would just be like in their work all the time. And then me and a couple other friends still made it a point to still do stuff with our friends. I still did stuff with church and was still involved in other like local activities and things like that. And I'll be honest, those connections and those real world experiences are what got me jobs right out of college anyway. I know also some of my favorite teachers were people who left their job doing whatever it was we were studying. So I had like one professor that was an interior designer, and she literally left her studio, like left her client jobs, came and taught us for that class period, whatever, and then went back and did it. And so I related to her so much more because I knew the things she was teaching me were from real world experience, and they were going to mean the most to me after I got out of school, instead of some of the other things that we learned that were so conceptual and whatever. And so I am just a huge fan of getting that real world experience and going and kind of fall on your face and make the mistakes and ask the questions and learn from doing, instead of learning from like sitting there and listening and then applying it 3 or 4 years later when you get out of school. And so I totally get it. I mean, clearly there's some professions and some jobs that, I don't want like a surgeon operating on me and me shaking his hand being like, hi, I took a course on Udemy. So we're lucky within the web design world that this is something that you do not have to go to school for. So take advantage of that. There's definitely other professions, like we said, that clearly have to go to school and have to go to a lot of school to be able to do that. And they can't dive straight into this like hands-on experience in like operating on people or whatever. And so you have chosen to at least look into, if you're not already doing it, to be on the path of doing something that you don't have to go to school for. So I mentioned just a second ago about me and some other friends making it a point to still make connections and still have real life interactions outside of school, and that being a way to get jobs. And so while you're in school, if you're not out there just working, if you chose to, feel that you needed to go to school for design, you're missing out on a lot of the connections that you could be making by just going ahead and being working. And this could be working doing anything really. If you were doing, I've done like marketing at places, I've worked at a school, been a teacher, lots of different things. And so those are things that you can, pull from those experiences and help that form and shape the type of designer that you are. So hopefully you've been able to see this is a misconception that a lot of people have. I'm hoping that there becomes more and more information out there to help encourage people that this is something that they can just kind of dive straight into. It definitely takes practice and it takes work, and it's a craft just like anything else. Like the more you want to master it, the more you're going to have to practice it and all of that. I'm actually read a quote for you. So Stack Overflow did a survey, and this was just last year, and what they came out with, I love these numbers. So almost 70% of all developers, at least the ones they surveyed. So developers, I'm using developers and designers. I've got a different video about that as well. There is a difference, but for our purposes here, read them as the same thing. Almost 70% of all developers are at least partly self-taught, with 13% of the people that responded to that survey saying that they're exclusively self-taught. Okay, less than half have a degree in any type of computer science or even a related field. Okay, so I know this is true for me and my husband, at least. We both are not actively working in what we went to school for, and again, I would say that's the case for a whole lot of you. So I hope that's encouraging. If it's something that you need extra help with, find classes, find other little smaller things that aren't like this huge, long, and expensive endeavor. And so I have a course called Site Design Blueprint. If you're interested about that, let me know. That just teaches you how to build a WordPress website, no code, teaches you how to go through the client process and all that stuff. There's also classes, I mentioned Udemy a second ago. You can get classes really cheap. You can watch stuff on YouTube. Like, you can totally learn how to do the things that you're wanting to do, and then go and practice it, and then find the next thing you don't know how to do, and then go and learn how to do that or take a course on that. There are so many like workshops and boot camps and all these things that even take just a few months to a few weeks, and they're so much less time intensive and less financially intensive than going to school for 3 or 4 years. And again, the connections that you're going to build and things like that by just going out and doing are going to be so much better than what you would do if you like went back to school. You're feeling this unnecessary pressure to have a degree in website design. So as always, if you've got other questions about things like this or other misconceptions we can debunk, let me know, and I'm happy to tackle those. Make sure you check out the other couple of videos along in this series, and I'll see you next time.